Hello and welcome back to the Kerbal Space program. My name is WW Deadman, but you already know that. This time we're actually not gonna have that much of a shorter episode because I actually don't plan on cutting that much out. As I said in the last two, this is still post-commentary because I am a moron and forgot to unmute my microphone before starting to record this session. Anyway, so this is essentially get this thing here off of Duna and rendezvous with a ship in orbit. And after that, get with the ship in orbit back to Kerbin and land it. I'm actually gonna go ahead and say screw actually going back to Kerbin. The ship in orbit has like 2.8k delta V, so no real reason to actually do stuff because it's obvious that you can even like do a high energy transfer and still be fine. Also, the ship in orbit that we want to rendezvous with is this thing. Really quickly I switched over here because I wanted to have a look at it. So this is this. That has a whole lot of fuel in it. No problem whatsoever. So switch back to our Kerbal on the surface of Duna. Just get in and take off. Have a nice day, essentially. And take a EVA report and a surface sample while you're here, because you can. And for no other reason, because this is actually a sandbox save that they used for this. Anyway, so we don't need those parachutes because we're gonna leave this in orbit around Duna. Set this as a target, wait for it to actually be above us. Here it comes. And now we want to start slightly to the north, away from that marking on the nav ball there. So, just get over here, get the SAS on. Okay. That was a little bit less smooth than I wanted it. By the way, I really gotta say I love the real plumes mod. That looks so much better than the stock engines do. Anyway, does this thing have enough delta V to get to orbit? Yeah, probably. They wouldn't like give you a task that's not doable. We don't want to go that much north, maybe? Line it up with the other orbit more. That's better. Also, I kinda don't want target velocity on my nav ball, thank you. I'd rather have orbital velocity or something. Anyway, so that's the approach. Coming up here. We are too slow at the moment. So either we like overburn by a lot and just stop next to the ship, or we do it more realistic and actually get into a lower orbit and catch up. Which is exactly what I am going to do here. So time warp up here after the last burn bit. Okay. That's pretty close. but as I said, not close enough. And we're just gonna burn a little bit along the horizon to make that work. Also get the ladder in and retract the landing gear. We don't need that anymore. Okay. Now, where is my target? Above me? Oh, up there. Cool. So, out here, we have to catch up, so I'm gonna go ahead and go a little bit faster into orbital direction. Also, I'm gonna frickin' fix my inclination a bit. Okay, that's better. And since those markers there don't want to go together, just gonna go ahead and put a little maneuver here and burn for a maneuver that gives me a rendezvous on the dark side of the planet, as it seems. Come on. Over here, a little bit more. Right at midnight. Great. Well, not a problem. We're also gonna go ahead and fix our inclination at that point a little bit. Then we're gonna get like 6 kilometer separation. That should be fine. So let's just time warp to that maneuver node. And do the burn from here. That's fine. Should be fine at least. A little bit more time warping and burn. Okay. Get rid of the maneuver node and see that we have the encounter that we wanted over there. A little bit more gives us a nice, very close encounter. Okay, so I set a little maneuver here and say warp to next maneuver. I gotta say the warp to next maneuver function or warp to here functions improved a lot. They don't over warp anymore, which is something that is really nice. Okay. Got that. And I'm probably gonna go ahead and crank up the ambient light a bit because you can't really see the frickin' ship right now. I am really glad that ambient light adjustment actually got updated for 1.1 already. That is like one of the essential mods. Please don't fight me, SAS. Thank you. Now just get this on the marker and then realize that that is exactly the wrong direction, because now I'm going away from my target. So I want to do exactly the opposite, actually. And I sped up in the wrong direction as well. And I only realized that once I actually get the ambient light up and see that my engine is facing me at this time. So, yeah. We want to do exactly the opposite and just fly in that direction. That's better. We did a pretty good job on saving the fuel here. We end up having a bunch of Delta V left once we actually encounter the thing. Let's go over here. Just a few kilometers left. 1 kilometer. Let's slow down a bit so we don't crash into the thing. And we're fine. Let's go closer a little bit. Up until like a few hundred meters. So we can EVA over pretty easily. Okay, get out, grab the stuff, just because we can. Let go of the ship and fly over there. I really like that we now have an actual nav ball in EVA, which makes actually going the direction we need to go a whole lot easier. Just go actually at the target. And then we just fly over there, a few hundred meters. Have a look at Duna down below. Have a look at the face of our Kerbal. And then we are almost there already. So yeah, from there it's pretty much, also one thing about Kerbal Engineer that's a little bit annoying, it doesn't actually tell me how much Delta V the Kerbal has in its jetpack, but hey, not something that we actually like desperately need. It's not something we use a whole lot, so yeah. So from here on out, it's actually pretty easy. All we really need to do is get in, which is a little bit harder because the ship's parked in such a way that the freaking hatch is pointing the wrong direction. Grab, please. Get in. Something. Hello? Let me in? Maybe? Kinda? Would it help if I changed view or something? I don't know. Board? Grab? Okay, board. There we go. Okay, so we've got like 1 point something, 1.2k. Is that right? I can't really read that post because the stuff is so small. Also, we've got locked fuel here, so we've got like 2.5k Delta V. Yeah, so even with a high energy transfer, we're pretty easily gonna get back to Kerbin and land safely. If we have a look at the frickin' map here, we've got 1 solar panel, so that's fine. We've got RCS, so that's fine. Like, there's nothing that stands in our way here. This is like the most basic return ever. Completely overpowered. If we wait for a window, we only need like 500 Delta V to actually get back to Kerbin, so we can burn into a low orbit and then deorbit and have no problem whatsoever. Hey Ike, you're kind of in the way. If we go past Ike, like that, and that's one reason I'm definitely gonna install the Precise Node mod again once that's available for 1.1. I could actually have more like steps of the orbits, more like influence changes before not having any prediction anymore. Like if we did this, that's 1.2 for getting away from Duna, and another 400 for making the adjustment to the other orbits. So we'd still have like 500 at least meters per second, like more like 1,000 left after doing all of that, and we would easily get into orbit of Kerbin and have no problem whatsoever to land this thing. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say screw that. I'm not even gonna do that. So back to the space center, I guess. That's not actually something you are supposed to do in a scenario, seeing as yeah, well, this is just a normal sandbox save from here, I guess. But yeah. Anyway, back to main menu and have a look at another little thing. Let's see. What other scenarios do we have? Scenarios. We have a little bit of hopping around on Gilly with a ion-powered spacecraft. Okay. Yeah, that's just avoid crashing into the moon. That's a basic one. I think we even did that once. Like way back when. Yeah, let's actually have a look at that. Okay, explosions. That's not what that is supposed to do. Nice ship design though. Like, really cool. I like it. I just dislike that it floats away from me. In any way, we're here for this little thing. Which is ion powered. That's totally on. So yeah, it also has nothing to actually control from that faces upwards. So this is gonna be very awkward to actually control, because you are not facing the direction your thrust is facing on the nav ball. So it is essentially completely irrelevant what your nav ball says, because, well, as you see, you don't see where you go on your nav ball. So I just end up going towards the frickin' ship that's floating away there and trying to rescue that instead. Okay, let's just hop off of this thing and screw this little thing, whatever abomination of construct that is. Okay, so let's go over to this hatch and actually get in. Here we go, grab and board. And then we're gonna go ahead and burn. And we are already on an escape course out of Gilly. Into a very Gilly-esque orbit of Eve. Okay. So much for that. Really cool design. I'd like to play with that. Get the legs in and close that bay door. Don't need that. Yeah, the design is really neat, I gotta say. But yeah, that can go into a Eve orbit and stay there. So that's cool. So I'd say we're gonna go ahead and go to the next scenario from here. So back to the Space Center. Why do these all have like a stupid... no, why don't they have a quit to main menu button in there? That would be really neat to have. Yeah, thank you, Scatterer. We don't need that menu right now. Scenarios. Let's see. The next thing is aerobraking around Joule. I really want to see how they aerobrake stuff. All we really need to do is get in the solar panels, so let's have a look at that. Okay, hi Joule. That's one weird construct, I gotta say. But yeah, let's just time warp into Joule's atmosphere. We're not gonna be able to do anything once we are below 1,000 kilometers anyway, since, you know, then the game thinks our ship is under acceleration. Also, please go pro-grade, not retrograde. Apparently the heat shields on this are on the front. Okay, so we also do not have action groups for those two freaking panels. So retract those manually. And then we are about to go in. And this is where we can't time warp anymore because the game is stupid. Yeah, we're not under the acceleration, but thank you. So yeah, in any way, we're gonna have a look at whether this stuff actually can aerobrake here without exploding. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and time accelerate most of this by like, I don't know, 5 times. Because once we actually start burning, this is gonna take a whole lot of time. How high? Why are we doing this? Dear camera, don't do that. In any way, we just hit the atmosphere and there we start actually getting re-entry effects. And the first heat shield in the front actually gets hot to some degree. Also, I am amazed that nothing is actually burning off. Another thing that's a little bit weird, look at the portrait of the first Kerbal on the left. There's kind of something missing there, right? Also, the interior view doesn't work for some reason. Like the cutaway thing. That randomly doesn't work. I have no idea why. Also, that black hole there is Joule. I don't know when Joule became a black hole, but that apparently happened. And we are in a safe orbit. Or actually, we're not safe yet. We're gonna be safe the once we actually get out and go around and burn up and stuff. Burn up our periapsis, that's not too much of a problem. But yeah, I'm amazed that this actually works. So we can aerobrake around Jewel as long as we have heat shields on top of our stuff. That's nice to know. In any way, you would do the whole maneuvering here, but yeah, we already know that that is something we can do. So let's just go back. Hello? Why? Oh, it still thinks it's under acceleration. Yeah, fuck that. It's not under acceleration, and I don't need this to be saved anyway, so yeah. So I guess we're gonna go with one more scenario for today, and then we're gonna cut it. So let's see if there's anything more interesting around. That's stuff we already know. That's a design, that rover, I mean. But yeah, I don't really feel like roving around the moon right now. So, and that is a SpaceX Falcon 9 replica. To some extent. Essentially, this is a rocket that can boost stuff up into orbit or suborbital trajectories, with the second stage taking over, and then we actually land the first stage back at KSC. So yeah, the other stuff is stuff that's been in for a while and that's not really interesting, that we've been doing with other, like, without actually having to have a scenario for it. So yeah, let's have a look at this. This is neatly designed. Okay, so we're falling towards KSC. Let's actually just point retrograde here. We don't have a whole lot of delta V in this, as you see. So we've got about double of the delta V that we need for a perfect suicide burn. So this is not a lot. It's very, very similar to the amount of fuel SpaceX actually leaves in there. And they have actual computers, like, doing the stuff, the important stuff. Okay. So, I'm gonna go ahead and say landing gear is something we can deploy pretty soon, but yeah. So as soon as we're falling straight down, or almost straight down, yeah, let's do a test burn here. Yeah, that's really aggressive. So we really have to just look at our suicide burn distance and stuff, and then make sure that this actually works. That was too early. Landing gear out, burn, and we're out of fuel just before we. Dang it. That's more like what happened to SpaceX a whole lot of times on the board. But yeah, this is pretty similar to the design of the SpaceX Falcon 9. Just those like fins there aren't there, and the aero brakes are more like paddles with holes in them. And only 4 of those, not 6 or whatever it is on here. But yeah, we're gonna see how good I am at doing a replica of that on the stream. That actually already happened by the time you get this video, but yeah, the VODs of that are coming up, so if you missed that, then don't be too bad about that. Also, we can't go to Space Center or recover. We can only go to main menu, which is fine. But yeah, I'll see you for the next episode. And till then, I'd say like and favorite if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more. And until next time, I'm WW Dadman. Bye.